welcome to RebelsCast. My name is Jonathan, and I'm joined by Nicki.
Hello.
And I'm afraid Nick and Josh were not able to make it, so it's just going to be the two of us reviewing the episode, the fruit episode. We did get a fruit episode in Clone Wars, and I think this one was a little better.
Yeah, I agree.
So Hera gives Sabine and Zeb, after, kind of having their little quarrels like always, finally gets on Hera's nerves. He's like, just get out of here. Go here's the supply list, and here's this Maloon fruit, And we had a couple other kinds of fruits as well, and we saw fruit in the Spark of Rebellion, so I don't know. Lothal must have a good supply of fruit. A lot of good fruits.
Apparently.
So, what did you think of this episode?
I liked it. I really liked the way they're building the dynamic between all of them. They've kind of become a family, and they've kind of settled into each of the roles in a family. Like Hera's definitely the mother, and Kanan's becoming the exasperated dad. And Ezra and Zeb are the two brothers who fight constantly, and Sabine is just over them all. Just let me do my thing. I don't care. Ugh, boys, yuck, kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of cute. Hopefully they don't rely too much on that because it can get kind of cliched. But I think they handled it really well in Fight or Flight. I thought it was a really fun episode to watch. What about you?
Oh, same here. I think the show just keeps getting better and better. Like you said, we're definitely getting the feeling that they're a real family, and we kind of see all the different little quirks and stuff they have. Seeing Chopper, seeing Chopper and Ezra, Ezra's like kind of like trying to focus, and we see, oh my gosh, the ball is lifting, and then the next thing we see the Chopper's laughing.
That was so funny. Sometimes he's like going to be the dog of the family, or sometimes he's just that younger brother who likes to mess with his older brothers. Because I just cracked up at that, because that's something R2 would have done too.
Yeah. Chopper is a bit of a jerk.
Yeah, he kind of is.
But
I think he's mischievous, and who knows what his programming is.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe, I don't know, like in 100 years what R2 could be like. Like his program, it is just all messed up, you know, and like all sorts of different quirks and stuff. Because we don't know how long R2's been around. We don't know how long Chopper's been around.
Right. So. Chopper looks like a very old school model astromech.
Yes.
Like maybe he's the grandpa. Maybe he's the old grandpa who likes to play little tricks on the grandkids.
Yes, in my day we had we had arms. We didn't have lasers to come out of our domes.
Hey, you kids, get off my landing platform.
So, after the whole argument, we did see, we always have that little moment where Ezra's like, "Hey, Sabine,"
Maybe she's the stepsister.
Yeah, so she's just like, if you need an inspiration, you better look. I'm like, man, he's just, just give it up.
Yeah, he's checking out the older girls, and like it's like, hey kid, how you doing? And she's like, oh God, just go away.
Right. So we do kind of get the continued frustration Zeb has that him and Ezra are sharing a room.
Yeah, those two in a confined space, not a good idea, because they will either fight seriously or they will play fight and be just getting on each other's nerves, both which could cause great destruction.
Right. And then you add Chopper in the room, and now you're just totally.
For it.
So after Hera just gets so fed up, she just says, "Go. Okay, here's a list of supplies, and we'll go get the melon fruit." So, it's kind of one of those moments where, like, I'm supposed to go with him, and they kind of squabble, and they eventually get out, and they go back to the town.
Yeah.
It seems like Lothal and maybe this, capital city is really the kind of place they really return to.
It's like home base, because I think because Ezra's from there, as far as we know, and he knows people there. I think it builds relationship between the crew and a place, so it's like they're home free there. Even though the Empire has a presence there, you're right. They seem to want to come back and kind of establish, kind of like, this is where we have to come to get supplies. This is where we come when we need to feel safe, kind of thing.
Right. So we get into town and we get to see, all the different, all the different things that kind of make a town. And I definitely see some definitely like some similarities to Tatooine in terms of whether it be the look of it or even the music.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it's because that's really the only small town we experience in Star Wars is Mos Eisley or Mos Espa, and there you get to see the people who are the beings that inhabit each world. And I think that a marketplace like they've established is a really great way to introduce new species, new ideas, give us a broader sense of the galaxy. We get to see, like, what would they eat? I mean, did we ever really even focus on that in the original trilogy? It's like, well, oh, this is the kind of food that they eat. This is the kind of clothes that they wear. This is the kind of life that people who were not the heroes or the bad guys had. And I kind of like that.
I've had Yoda soup. There's actually a recipe for Yoda soup. It is very gross. It is.
You should try Yoda soda. That's better.
Oh.
I have all the Star Wars cookbooks, so.
Yeah.
I'll send you the recipe for Yoda soda.
Cool stuff. So, it seems like, Ezra, a few times this episode, he's encountered, like, people that he's, like, grown up with. Including including the fruit guy.
Oh, yeah, the Rodian.
The Rodian. And, and he kind of has, like, a different voice, opposed to, like, as opposed to the Rodians in the Clone Wars.
Right. Different dialects, different locations, maybe.
Right.
They could be just like every other species and have a distinctive to their where they're born or where they're from. Right.
So he's selling like yogurts, which is sound like it's a little similar. They look a little similar to the ones that Ezra in Spark Rebellion.
Yeah.
Look a little like similar to that. So, I think it's interesting that none of all these fruits are very tropical almost looking. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not plain.
No, they look like that one. Kind of look like a mango with spikes. And I've noticed that too. It's like, oh, we can't just have something that's just nondescript.
Just a plain red apple.
Yeah, exactly. We have these. Oh, look, it's a mango with that can kill you.
With spikes. Well, of course, in Attack of the Clones, there is like basically a pear. That's pretty plain.
Yeah, there was that in the dining room seduction scene.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so seductive.
It was like an apple-shaped pear.
Yes. So, after Zeb kind of gets all these supplies, we kind of, they ask for like, where's a Maloran fruit? How do you say it again?
Melora fruit?
Yeah, Maloran fruit. They're kind of asking around, and we kind of realize that the Empire has bought like a big box of them. Not really sure. I mean, not quite sure why. I mean, I don't think they really get into it. They're just into buying expensive.
They just had to take them back to the cook of their, the guy who cooks for them, or maybe it's a treat for some of the troopers. Because I don't really see the Empire like giving them fancy fruit.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Or maybe it's for the officers. Maybe they're taking it back for the officers.
Yeah, or they're making a huge collection to take to the Empire.
Oh, that's true. Like their stockpile.
He could love these fruits.
That's true.
You never know. He could just be like chomping on one.
He's got one in each hand. He's alternating.
He's in the center room, and someone comes in and he's eating it. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then the spiky, double spike guy kind of comes in. What are you eating, Emperor? Nothing.
And he's Emperor, you have juice coming down your chin.
Oh, excuse me. So, of course, and we can see that Zeb, of course, he just loves teasing.
Yeah.
You're going to use the Force. He's kind of like similar to Han Solo. He's like, yeah. What is this? When Luke is kind of like, you don't believe in the Force, do you?
Yeah.
It's just kind of this old religion.
Yeah, ancient religions and hokey weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
Right.
Kind of guy. Yeah, he really is kind of like, he doesn't, I think it's because, like Han, he doesn't understand it, so he can't fully appreciate the Force and what it can do and how hard it is to train someone.
Right. So it seems like stormtroopers, they always, fall for the pebbles or the little teeny stones. Because, he sees it, he's like, wow, there's a pebble? I gotta go check it out.
Yeah.
There it is, there I go.
They're like goldfish. It's like, oh, shiny. Go chase it like a dog chasing a squirrel. Yeah, they're not the smartest people they've recruited to be troopers.
Yeah, so, and it seems like that, Hera's sending them out, apparently, good luck find, we kind of learned that it wasn't really the point. The point wasn't, sending them out just to get the fruit. It was to learn a lesson.
And to get them out of her hair.
Right. So I guess we're kind of thinking that maybe this fruit is so hard to get that it'll keep them away for longer than if they just get like some regular supplies or something. I don't know.
Right. She wants them to bond. She wants them to start getting along. The next step is getting them a T-shirt and putting them both in it that says our Get Along shirt.
Yep.
But sadly, they did kind of come together. It took a lot of action and mischief,
right,
to get them to the end.
Yeah. So, and I think that Zeb kind of has he's always having to, like we keep saying, he's the big brother, and when the big brother's in danger, he's got to, go save him.
Yeah.
So, so he tries to go for the fruit, and the Force wouldn't really. No, wait. Does he use the Force to lift the...
He uses it and it kind of wiggles, and then the Stormtrooper comes and tries to pick up the crate. Stormtrooper did not notice anything amiss. He just came over to lift the crate, and that's when Zeb started throwing things.
Right. Okay. And of course, there goes all their other supplies.
Yeah, I wondered why, if anyone would catch that. I was like, wait a minute. They had boxes of stuff to take back to the Ghost.
When I rewatched it okay, well, we'll get to that later, but, so I think, let's see, where else were we?
Well, the stealing of the TIE fighter.
Oh, yes, the stealing of the TIE fighter. So, we have to have a ship, a ship stealing scene, or a vehicle stealing scene.
Right. Again, it's fun, but I hope they don't rely too much on that.
Right. So of course Zeb he pulls the pilot out. Just kind of like Chewie in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Chicken Walker.
Oh yeah.
In Jedi.
He throws him off.
Right.
No, I thought it was a cool scene because we got to see a lot of homages to the original trilogy. With pretending they were just a TIE fighter out looking for rebels instead of it really reminded me of when Han and Leia and Chewie Luke were on the shuttle Tidarian, and they had to say they were going to the Forest Moon with supplies.
Right.
The whole thing and the whole, oh shh, I can't hear you. My radio's cutting out.
Right.
Kind of reminded me of the scene in the Death Star in Episode 4 where Han's like, "Yeah, everything's okay here. How are you?"
Yeah. I always that's a great quote.
I love when they pay respect to where they came from.
Right.
And not the TIE fighter you're looking for.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, kind of showing their hand when he kind of goes forward. Oh, there's a TIE fighter. Yeah. the TIE fighter isn't really a kind of transport that would come out to like communicate that with them.
Right.
You
It's
know.
not a hunting. Because where are you going to put any prisoners in a TIE? It's a one. It's a one man.
Yeah.
It's a fighter ship, and it's short range. And if you're going to take something out to look for rebels, you would take something that you could possibly arrest someone in. So
Right.
it took a while for the Imperial officer to kind of catch on.
Right.
Again, the Empire. Well, I can't say anything. As an Imperial officer, I can only say that my garrison would be like stringing that guy up as not a good representative of the Imperials.
Right. And we can kind of see that they're kind of doing some stuff here that may or may not be in the greatest the greatest in the Empire's interest. You know.
Right.
I mean, what exactly is their interest in this person's land? I mean, are they just kind of, just trying to do they want to build like a base or something, and that's why they want to get rid of this guy off his farm or something?
That's kind of what I was thinking. It was that they're gonna like take over the planet and like make it an outpost. But then again, we don't know how far this is from Coruscant and how far the Emperor is looking to put up bases. This could be just this one Imperial officer or a group of officers who are just being bullies or who are doing it for their own reasons. Like they have things that they want to do. They're assigned to this godforsaken outpost. We're going to build what we want. We're going to take what we want. We're going to do what we want. And the Emperor's too far away to know.
Right. So in one part of the episode, we do get they take us to the Drederic table
Mm-hmm.
on the Ghost, and just another callback to the original trilogy.
Yeah, and again, it was like the mom and dad like exasperated, after, how was your day, honey, kind of thing. And Hera and Kanan are really showing to me a lot deeper relationship than we kind of expected from them, I think. So
Right, and that's the one. That's when Kanan and Chopper are playing, right? Kanan and Chopper are playing, yeah.
But Hera's there, and my only complaint about the episode was, we really haven't gotten to know Sabine enough.
Right.
And I was kind of missing her. She was only in it like 2, maybe 3 moments.
Yeah, she's making some kind of... We're not quite sure what kind of art she's making.
Right.
She's
like a tagger.
Yeah, I mean, the thing she made in Spark Rebellion, the thing she drew there, that looked like actual kind of, it was a full rebel symbol.
Right.
But in Ezra and Seb's room, it looks more like, or is it? I get mixed up with like which room she's working on sometimes, but
I think she was in a separate room because when Ezra left after she told him to basically get lost, he went into his room and Zeb was sleeping.
Right.
Or it appeared, because he did not want to be woken up.
Right.
He made that quite clear.
Yes. So Sabine, she's kind of like, I mean, it'd be nice to see her, do some more of that actual art, like real art stuff, and we do kind of see an interesting piece of art she makes later,
Yes.
But more on that later. So that's, of course, when, around when they contact Kanan about, where they are. They get in contact with Kanan and Hera, wait, is that a TIE fighter? And these TIE fighters, they really make... I've always wondered about the sound a TIE fighter makes. It's just so loud-pitched.
Yeah. Like, it's pretty intense, and I like that we're seeing the TIE fighters on more of them, because it was always a ship growing up that kind of fascinated me. In fact, I have a collection of different TIE fighters and different models and Christmas ornaments and mini machines and all those things, because it's a ship that we don't know a lot about, and they're kind of just there. But I like that we're getting to see them more, because I don't know, it just intrigues me. Whereas the Falcon is my favorite ship, and we know it very well. We don't really know a lot about the TIE fighters.
And we
I just
really
think they're
have,
cool.
yeah, and we really haven't seen them very little. I mean, in the OT, they've always been in space, right?
Yeah, we never saw them really parked or landed, or everything was always in action. So we never really got to see the cockpit and what it's like in there. I mean, how do they manage the twin engines and that kind of stuff, and how do you get to the bent wings, and can all TIE fighters bend their wings, or is it just one particular kind?
Yeah, it's a very strangely designed craft.
Yeah, and part of me thinks that he designed it to look like a bow tie, and then came up with a name and found something that the TIE would stand for that made sense. So I was like, let's make this one look like a bow tie, and we'll call it a TIE fighter. But the TIE part will stand for, let's see if we can make this work. Twin ion engine. Okay, there we go. We're good. Because he modeled every ship after something. Dear George.
Yep. So, and of course, Zeb's like, oh my gosh, this thing doesn't have shields. So, it's a very bare bones thing. No shields, no hyperdrive.
They're short range fighters.
Short range fighters. So of course, Kane, hears this happening. They're like, did you at least, turn off the location beacon? So, and I think it's kind of something that, it would be, I wouldn't really be surprised that it would have, just in case of someone getting lost or the craft getting stolen or for a number of cases.
There's these soldiers, these troopers, not the brightest knives in the shed.
No, they're not.
I can see some of these guys getting lost. Now, some of the guys in the original trilogy and some of the clone troopers and the prequels, I definitely were smarter than some of these guys. Maybe that's why they're out in the middle of nowhere. It's like, you guys, we're going to send this group all the way to you just take care of that plan. We'll take care of everything else.
Right. So then we have, a little earlier actually, I think them blowing up the farm was a little reminiscent to, A New Hope.
Yeah, I absolutely got that vibe. You're absolutely right.
And I think there was, I'm trying to figure out, there was, different parts where the music was similar, or if it was like similar, it was like for a little few seconds with a little twitch to it throughout.
Yeah, it definitely had the similar melody, and I think that was done on purpose because so far all the music has been, really reflective of John Williams' Star Wars music, but with a little bit of difference, so that it's its own thing, but it still evokes the memory of Star Wars. It's like, oh, that's from this. That sounds like this. That sounds like the Han and Leia theme. That sounds like the Emperor's March, kind of thing.
Right. So let's see. So they're trying to kind of like, let's kind of go. Of course they're going to go try to rescue the farmers. And I think another thing I heard other fans say, something that maybe this Imperial transport might be something that 3PO might have been waving to when.
Oh.
That's what I heard someone said, because, there was someone, as far as, there had to be some kind of transport that came to take out Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
Right.
Obviously they didn't take any prisoners.
And they made it look like it was sand people.
Right.
So it's somebody familiar. Huh. I did hear, speaking of Aunt Beru, did you hear that rumor that they were saying it's possible that Boba Fett was the one who took out Beru and Owen?
Can't say that I have.
Yeah, somebody posted something about that somewhere, and I will try to find it and send it to you, but, just to hear your take on it.
Yeah, so, they go to rescue them, they kind of do the thing where Ezra jumps down to try to get their attention, distract them, Let's see, when's the part where they start, like, throwing fruit
Yeah, that was like right after that as they were approaching, and then I thought that was funny.
It kind of
That
reminds me
was
of the Ewoks.
yeah, definitely. And
It's
how they
like,
were just like, whatever we got, we're gonna throw it at you.
you did this all for fruit? I mean, yeah, no, I mean, kinda,
I guess we did.
you know, so it's just Ezra does manage to kind of, take the stormtroopers out. I mean, he's able to use the Force to unlock that,
That
unlock the door.
right.
I mean, the prisoner, uh, what is it called? The thing that straps the prisoners in.
Oh,
I'm not sure what it's called, but it's kind
I'm
of,
not sure what it's called either.
yeah, but it's kind of like something that,
Somebody let us know if you're listening to this. Somebody
yeah,
let us know what that's called.
because this transport ship has never been seen in
Mm-mm.
Star Wars before, so it was kind of similar to what they put on you when as far as like those roller coasters and stuff.
Yeah, it was like a restraining, instead of a restraining bolt that they put on a droid, it was like restraining harness for humans or beings. Huh.
Right. So, he does of course, Ezra's always, trying to come up with the different things to do, and he was able to stop the gun and
Right.
the cannon. He's very useful. Very,
Yeah, I think he uses what he knows as like a street rat and what he's learning from Kanan and even from Zeb, because you can tell that he's definitely picking stuff up that he didn't have before. I think he's kind of developed his own style of fighting through the influences around him, which I thought was really cool that he can use all those things.
it
Kind of
seems
like Luke.
right. It seems like his slingshot isn't really good against someone if they have armor on.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to really be careful when they use that. Maybe maybe it's something he'll give up once he builds his own lightsaber.
Right.
Or laser sword, as they're
Right.
calling it. Which I don't like, but oh well.
Yes.
I'm not writing it. Laser sword reminds me of Anakin and Phantom Menace.
Oh yes, because I saw your laser sword.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, why are we calling them laser swords? They're lightsabers. Everybody knows they're called lightsabers, Anakin. Come on.
Hello, Anakin. Get out of your pod racer.
I know. I did love that moment that Ezra and Zeb had at the end where Zeb gives Ezra the TIE fighter helmet. He goes, I know you collect these, kind of thing. And it's like, well, I already have one of these. And then he's like, oh, but maybe Sabine can make it look really cool. So it showed to me that they were trying to get along.
And another thing, I also thought is that really, I mean, how much when Ezra left his home, I mean, he didn't really take anything with him.
No, he just had his knapsack and because that little abandoned place he was living was where he kept all of the helmets.
Yeah, so he has one. He has a Imperial pilot helmet for his home, and then his home away from home.
Right.
So
they're on the same planet. Maybe he goes back there occasionally, or maybe that he brought all of his stuff aboard the Ghost. They haven't told us that yet. Like, is he officially living on the Ghost with everybody, or does he still go back to that little water tower thingy he was living in? I don't know.
Oh, speaking of Spark of Rebellion, what did you think of that? Actually, no, we'll discuss that later.
Okay.
So I think I mean, how much more else? I mean, they get they say that they crashed the TIE fighter, but did they? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they hid it somewhere for further use someday. Or to Frankenstein it for parts or whatever.
Right, give it a shield, I don't know.
Which the Empire clearly doesn't care about their TIE fighter pilots.
No. So, they finally get back. Here's one balloon fruit,
But none of the other stuff.
None of the other stuff. But they don't mention that.
Yeah.
When I rewatched the episode, I was expecting her to say that, but I guess I was wrong.
I thought she would, but I think her main goal in sending them on that little errand was to get them out of her hair. So the fact that he came back with even one thing on the list.
Hair? Hair. Yeah.
That was an unintended pun.
And she doesn't even have any hair, so.
And now she's got the Twilight braid. But yeah, I was like, well, they came back with something. It's probably more than she expected them to come back with.
Right. Though, even though,
but
of course,
they're
the
really
money.
digging in with that. They're really digging in with the Empire, though. They're
Yes.
really getting to the point where they're going to start getting noticed.
Yeah.
So go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, that was it. I was just going to say that, even if they don't, I mean, they did buy those supplies, so that goes that money out the dish, out the door.
That's true, because they do try to pay for things.
Yeah. Usually.
So, usually. When they don't steal from, like, the merchants or the people around them, but they'll steal from the Empire.
Yeah, though I think the Rodian kind of maybe kind of could have used an apology. Sorry for trashing your fruit stand with our TIE fighter.
Yeah.
But,
But then they can blame that on the Empire.
Right. So I think that's it in the episode's end. So what were any final thoughts with this episode?
Yeah, I thought it was a very fun episode. I think it's the kind of episode that's kind of like the buddy cop movie or the buddy road trip movie. That you really got to see a different side to the characters, and you got to see them pulling together, which you hadn't seen a lot of that with Zeb and Ezra. I think I like how it's moving their relationship along. My only complaint really is Sabine was not present, really. We saw her a couple times. She didn't really add anything. And she's a character that intrigues me, so I'm like, when are we going to get more Sabine? So, but I thought it was just total fun. I was like, if I was eating popcorn, it would have been just like shoveling it in my mouth.
Right. Of course. Of course, we forgot to mention that little cartoon she made. Yeah, Sabine, I don't know. I mean, I guess she just likes to make all sorts of art, but
yeah,
but it's just kind of ridiculous, that little. It makes me look like a fool. It makes me look like an even bigger fool.
Well, yeah, kind of.
So, all right, yeah, I agree. I mean, we're definitely getting a lot of variety, just like the Clone Wars, of different episodes of different missions. So, and of course, the next episode is going to be much bigger, a lot more bigger stakes. So,
yeah.
So I think if that's all, where on Twitter can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at iHeartColson. I also post on at Radio Free Indoor along with you, Jonathan.
Right. And I'm at JEBL49er and I also try to post on Facebook, but mostly with the Twitter with Nicki. So,
it's just easier on Twitter, isn't it?
It's just easier because all the feeds are there, so I can just click retweet.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I tweet on Radio Free Indoor, then I retweet it on iHeartColson.
And I tweet it on my Twitter, and then I switch to Radio Free Indoor, then I retweet it from my old Twitter, or vice versa.
So either way, you're getting a lot of us, people.
Yes. And then you can follow Nick and Josh at the Interdortum, so they should have a couple episodes coming out soon. So, RebelsCast fans, do not fear.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we'll see you next time. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Nicki.
And thanks for joining us.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.